Hello. Hi, everyone. In the last lecture, we added this Protractor jar file, right? We added this Protractor jar file to our project. Now, let me create a new test script here for which new class. I'm creating a package as Protractor. Okay. And I'm naming my scenario 1. Okay, so with the main method I just created this script with the main method, guys. What I am doing now means from my previous test scripts, from my Eclipse editor WebDriver previous test scripts, I'm copying the first 3 lines of a code, which is okay, which is system.set property webdriver.chrome.driver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. I just specified that, and webdriver space driver1 is equal to new Chrome driver. Great. So as usual, if you clearly observe, as I am good at my WebDriver programs, initially, okay, as I am good at my WebDriver programs, initially, what I did means I created a program wherein which I launched my browser and to which I just specified my Chrome browser. And now to work on these Angular controls, we are going to use ng driver. Okay, we are gonna use ng driver here. So this is a GitHub location. If you scroll down, you can find the information about all these documentation, what are all the various methods available within this Protractor. All these information you can find it out over here. Okay, all these information you can find it out over here, from where we noticed that ng WebDriver. So if you clearly observe, we are using an ng WebDriver here. So what I am doing right now means I would like to create an object to ng WebDriver. Driver is equal to new ng WebDriver, for which I would like to pass the browser instance. Okay, I would like to pass the browser instance. Import the required setup from the Protractor. I just imported the required setup from the Protractor. And now I would like to perform, or I would like to open this application. Let's consider this application as a second scenario. As usual, you know that we use it to open this angularjs.org, right? Let me try to open this application itself. So here, the only thing which I created is I created an object to an ng driver, and I am using a normal web driver get command here. I'm using a normal web driver get a command here in order to perform these operations. So I'm not doing anything else here. I'm just using a normal web driver get a command to perform these operations. Fine. Let me run my test script as a Java application and see how this is going to work. The script is getting executed. It launched a browser and it opened this application, AngularJS application. Great. Let me close this application. I would like to maximize this one. Driver.manage.window.maximize. This is another WebDriver command which we are using to maximize the browser. So here I'm not using anything as a new commands. Whatever the WebDriver commands are there, directly I'm using a WebDriver commands. Great. So here, if you remember, we used an example test script wherein which we try to identify a value in this browser and we perform the operations. So here it is. So here, I think we performed a value here. Inspect element. So it is having an ng model. See here, it is having an ng model. So how can I identify this text field which is having an ng model? Go back here. As usual, driver.find element. Great. So whenever we are using a by dot, it will pull all the WebDriver methods like by.id, link text, name, partial link text, and other stuff. In the current scenario, my application is having certain Angular controls. So here, rather than using a direct by dot, here I'm using ng, ng by, ng by dot. So here it's coming as a binding, button text, CSS text, input modal, modal text, all the Angular controls, ng repeater, all the Angular controls are displaying here, from which for my object, I noticed the model as your name. Copy the model name, go back to your program by ng model, your name, dot send keys as a Surendra Jagannatham. I have given this name as a Surendra Jagannatham into that particular field. Great. Guys, if you clearly observe, this is just a normal WebDriver program. The WebDriver syntax is one and the same. Whenever we have Angular controls, then only use this ng by. Else, in normal cases, we can use our regular by dot, which is a WebDriver command. Okay, which is a WebDriver command. Let me try to run this script and see how this is going to work. Run as a Java application. It's trying to execute the test script. Let's see how this is going to work. Okay, it's trying to execute the test script. Let's see how this is going to work. Okay, so it entered Surendra Jagannatham here, guys. Okay, cool. Fine. Okay, so here it entered the value. So if you clearly observe, it just performed the value on a bing.com field. It just performed the value in a bing.com field. Okay, fine. So you need to be more careful here just in identifying the properties. Okay, just in identifying the properties and performing the operations. Okay, so this is a simple scenario. How can we handle this? Okay, this is a simple scenario. How can we handle this? This is a basic stuff. Now, this is the first example how to perform these operations. And guys, at the end of my scenario, I'm using a normal thread dot sleep and a normal WebDriver quit command. See, this is an AngularJS application. Directly, I'm writing a normal Java program, which is a Selenium WebDriver program, and I am interacting with the objects. Let me rerun my test script once again. Okay, let me rerun my test script once again and see whether it is performing these operations or not. This is the first scenario which we have created right now to perform operations on an AngularJS applications. Okay, this is the first scenario. So